What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we're going to talk about how Rian Johnson makes me appreciate Zack Snyder just so much more than ever now. So, Zack Snyder, I am not a fan of the DCEU, and I have never been quiet about that. I don't like Zack Snyder's DCEU. I've never liked it. I tried my damnedest to like Man of Steel, and actually convinced myself that I did like it after one viewing because it was one of my most anticipated films of all time. The trailers were fantastic. I'm a huge Superman fan. Christopher Nolan was involved, but ultimately I ended up disliking that film massively. And obviously Batman v Superman, never liked it. I've seen it one time in theaters, and then I watched the ultimate cut, and I hated both. So, but I have always liked Zack Snyder as a director. I love Watchmen. Watchmen is incredibly underrated. Fantastic movie from beginning to end. I love Watchmen. I'm a big fan of Dawn of the Dead by Zack Snyder. I didn't like 300, but I appreciated 300 for the achievement in visual filmmaking, and I respect the hell out of 300, and it shows that's where Zack Snyder's strong suit is. But so I've always liked Zack Snyder. I just hated his DCEU, and I was very critical of him during that time. Then we move on to The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson, and similar things. Don't like his vision. Don't like The Last Jedi. Tried my best to make myself like The Last Jedi, and ultimately decided I don't like it at all, to the point where now I hate that movie. I can't stand it. There's a big difference, though. Now, it is what it is. You know, maybe I don't like your movies. Maybe I do like your movies. That's kind of irrelevant. I have similar feelings towards Snyder's DCEU and Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Here's the difference. One of these directors is a grown-ass man, and he's confident in his decisions, and he's willing to accept that many people don't like his vision, and he's okay with that, and he shows confidence, and he's not constantly attacking the fans, and he's not constantly making excuses, and he's not constantly showing insecurities and being petty, and that would be Zack Snyder. Then we have the other one, Rian Johnson, who's constantly just being a smug asshole, who's constantly blaming the fans for how they can't understand it, and he's constantly taking shots. He's always showing insecurities. He's always saying something stupid. I hate his face. I can't stand to hear this man talk. I can't stand to see his face. He is so annoying. And that's the difference right now, is people are not going to like stuff. Different people are not going to like things, and that's fine. Many people don't like my videos. I hear a lot of people that used to be supporters of Geeks and Gamers, now that I've taken my true self and put my true self here on YouTube, I hear people talking about me all the time on Facebook and Twitter that used to claim they were supporters of ours, even though they never did support a damn thing we did. So it's fine, whatever, complain about it. I really don't give a shit. And that's kind of what Snyder seems like a cool guy. He seems like a cool guy who just says, I had a vision, and I attempted that vision, and a lot of people don't like that vision, and he's cool with that. He's willing to accept it because he's a grown-ass man. And to be fair, Snyder fans have driven me crazy. Snyder fans are always making excuses for Snyder's movies. Snyder himself, he doesn't. Whereas Rian Johnson is not a grown-ass man. Rian Johnson is just always being petty, and he's always got this smugness to him, basically like, if you don't understand it, or if you didn't like it, and then he tries to call people man babies. The guy who basically follows Kathleen Kennedy around and just everything she tells him to do, he does it without any hesitation. He's going to call other people online man babies. This is the guy who moved Kylo Ren's scar. Kylo Ren's scar was over the bridge of his nose after The Force Awakens. Rey clearly sliced him across there, and then he moved the scar to over his eye. When he was confronted about it on Twitter, he lied about it and told the person that asked him about it, no, it's not moved. It's not moved. And then when people started spamming him with pictures to show that clearly you moved it, then he's like, oh, well, we just thought it was goofy. Okay, well, what is it? Well, then why did you lie about it? Like, why did you lie if you're so confident in your decision making and the process behind it? Why did you lie about it? It's not like this would not have been exposed because there's picture evidence and we're on the internet. But this is a common theme with him. And my bigger problem here is one of these directors tried to interject social justice bullshit into the story, which really detracted and derailed the entire thing. And the other just had a different take. Zack Snyder never tried to interject social justice into his DCEU films. He did try to deconstruct the characters. He took them in radical directions. I didn't like it. I'm on record saying I didn't like it, and I don't like it any more today than I didn't like it 6 months ago. I'm never going to like Zack Snyder's DCEU films. That's just the bottom line. This isn't about that, though. This is about how they handled it. And Zack Snyder has shown amazing confidence in his ability, and he just seems like a cool guy. He seems like a cool dude. And Zack Snyder seems like that annoying-ass kid in school that's just always like he comes from a rich family and he never had to do anything, and that's kind of what he is as a director. He's had one film, Looper, where he put bad makeup on Joseph Gordon-Levitt's face that was unnecessary, and Looper was totally overpraised. Not that it was a bad movie, but it was totally overpraised. It wasn't a great movie. It was fine. I never saw Brick, but other than that, that's all he's done. And now he's directing Star Wars because he's the rich kid in school that never had to work for anything, and now that he's gotten somewhere and he's effed it all up, it's everybody else's fault. It's not his fault, has nothing to do with him, it's everyone else's fault. I don't like Rian Johnson, and I'm so thankful for a person like Zack Snyder, even if I don't agree with his vision or his decision making, and I never have, and even if his fans are really aggravating online, Zack Snyder is a stand-up dude, and Zack Snyder is the type of person that I can at least support as a human being and as a dude and as a director, because even if I don't like his vision, he believes in his vision, and he's okay if you don't like his vision. Whereas Rian Johnson is all about making you're the problem. Oh, if you didn't like Rose, it's your fault because you're a racist or you're a sexist. I can't stand that thought process. And it's the weakest argument, period, and it just shows major insecurities. So thank you so much, Rian Johnson. You finally did something right. You made me someone that was very critical of Zack Snyder. Not that I didn't appreciate Zack Snyder, but going back to during that time when the DCEU was so divisive and so, like, it was just so bad online, the one thing we never got was Zack Snyder constantly blaming the fans for not understanding his vision. His fans did that all the time, but not Zack Snyder. He's a cool dude, and I really feel horrible that he and his family endured such a tragedy. And I would feel the same for Rian Johnson. I would never wish anything horrible on anybody, even if I don't like them or anything like that. So I would never wish that on anybody. And it's just horrible that Zack Snyder and his family had to go through that, and I would never wish that on anyone. So anyway, thank you, Rian Johnson, for helping me just appreciate the man, Zack Snyder. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later.